All right, episode 37 of Canadian Talk. So, what we're doing today is we're doing this. We're wearing robes, as you can see, that's just always cool. We got some eggs on the fry. We're gonna fry some eggs, and we got some overcooked turkey slices. We're gonna try to see if we can eat, or maybe saute them up a bit and see if we can make them yummy. The other thing is this will be I'm gonna do a TikTok live while I record this podcast to see what that's like, because it's a thing that I have now, and we'll see. And at the end of the episode, if there's any good questions or anything, I'll read through them and answer them, or maybe I'll answer them while I'm doing it. I'm not really sure because I'm not gonna start it until a bit later. The live. So yeah, just more solo episodes. This is what I want to do. So I don't know. I mean, I like having guests, but sometimes it even feels forced with even just one person. So what we're doing today is we're frying eggs. We're having beers, all by ourselves in the chalet. Yep. Got coronavirus. Just sent it to you through the mic. No, man, what has been happening? Oh, there's so much that's been happening. So, like, to get into the story, before I get into making my eggs or anything like that, I'm still letting it heat up. Yeah, it's still let that heat up a bit more. Um, yeah, I have some crazy stories that I don't think I've told at all on any podcast because I've skipped a week now because I've been working on a lot of projects. I saved a dog's life, number one, and I can tell that story. And I guess I saw a car accident, which isn't that exciting, but I saw a 13-year-old girl get hit by a car she's on a skateboard, and then I had to go and help her out. But I don't think she hit her head or anything, so it was like relatively okay. So yeah. So what's been going on in the world? Like that's relevant to me anyway, and this show. This is Canadian Talk. That's the name of this. This is a podcast. I'm a person who calls himself a comedian who shouldn't, because I'm not really a comedian. But I try to be. You know, I don't know when I earn that title. Isn't when I call myself that. It's whatever. But you know, what a comedian is to me is a person who can there I never saw it before, and I've been talking about it with some of the people that I talk with and debate with from academia. Like, got this new analogy going, uh, like that life is just a game, and you know it really can be like that. Um, oh shit! This fire. This is the thing. Is I wish I had an up close fire cam, because sometimes I lose my train of thought because of the fire, and it's being so nice. It is part of the visual effect of this that it is too bad, but like, yeah. Sorry, I was talking about life being a game. What else was I talking about before that, though? I lost my train of thought. I think my favorite thing is losing my train of thought live while I'm recording something. It's because right now I'm scrambling to try to, and I'm so happy that I'm not in front of an audience. Oh yeah, yeah, a comedian. Whether I can call myself a comedian or not. And you know, like, you can't just call yourself that if you haven't earned it. Like, other people have to call you it, right? I don't know. Like, the fuck. I mean, I went to engineering school for 4 years. I finished it. I worked for 3 or 4 more years. I did a test to the licensing test. I paid my fees a lot, and people still say I can't call myself an engineer. So when the fuck can you call yourself anything? You know? Okay, so let's try to. That's 5 minutes of fucking nonsense. So let's try and get this. All right, let's disrobe and let's try. We got a roaring fire here. I think we're ready for some eggs. Okay. Okay. I think I am live. We're notifying viewers that we're alive. Okay. Here we go. Who knows if we're going to even have any viewers or have any questions? But we may. So, welcome to episode 37 of Canadian Talk with Stephan podcast. And today we are live on TikTok. We're going to fry some eggs. I didn't do anything. I know you're supposed to make like a title and shit, but I haven't done that at all. I also don't know how to see if I even have viewers. Oh, there's somebody. There's some people. But like, where does it even say it? I don't even know if it says it anywhere or anything like that. But yeah, so today we're frying eggs, and we got a fire going here. We're gonna fry some eggs over this classic old stove that I got in my podcast studio here. This is episode 37 of the podcast. We're doing it live on TikTok. We had an intro before we brought in the TikTok viewers. So, you know, that's just too bad for you, you know. Oh, my computer randomly started playing some music. I certainly know that it has a virus, but I don't know why. Oh, okay, it stopped. What the fuck? Oh my god. Am I allowed to swear on these TikTok lives? I don't even know. So this is Canadian Talk podcast. If you want to see the full intro, if you're watching me live right now, go check out the accounts, whatever. Ask a question on here if you want me to answer it. We mostly deal with sports and comedy. If you want to see the full episode of this, and I guess the comments won't be live on the screen. The video feed that I'll put on the YouTube thing of recounting this live won't have your comments on it. So I guess don't go there to see your comment or anything, but it will be up there. So yeah, because that's the thing, is you may not get to see your comments answered on here. I'm just recording them on the thing, and then I'm gonna take one of my cameras that I'm doing the TikTok on, and I'm gonna sort through the comments and answer them on this other video feed. So you may not get to see your question answered until you come back and watch the podcast on YouTube later with all of this in it. But yeah, I'm getting kind of hungry, so maybe I should get these eggs on the fryer. We've been doing video now for about 10 minutes. We're 10 minutes in. Okay, so I'm going to walk up and see what is going on the screen right now, because I've never done this, and I want to see if it shows viewers or how many of you there is. So 1 second. What do we got here, people? Oh. 0 likes. That's fantastic. Bunch of stuff that says join. 0 guest requests. So how do you know if there's any viewers? Wonder if this button up here does it. No. It says good connection. Well, it's showing me who's who's all joining, but I don't know how many of you there is in here. Whatever. We're rocking and rolling. We're live though, so I guess I better watch what I say. Unlike usual stuff, but I mean, it's not like I edit anything out. So yeah, just to remind everybody, sorry to repeat myself for anybody who's here, if there is anybody here. I don't even know. I'm gonna have to look at this after and they'll tell me. I don't know if anybody's watching right now. But oh, my computer just had random music pop onto it and it started playing music. Pretty sure you'll be able to hear it. What the fuck was that? That was a ghost. Like that was the ghost of the podcast. Or maybe somebody's hacking me. They're trying to take us down. They think we're right-wing media and they're trying to take us down and get us. Fire's attacking me. All right, we're off and we're rolling. We're drinking beer. But yeah, so what we're doing is we're hoping to get questions from anybody on the TikTok live. Damn, this might be repetitive, so this might not be the best podcast ever. That's why I added the frying the eggs, just to give it a little bit more pizzazz for the regular watcher, not the live watcher, because it might get a little repetitive. But you know what? I just won't be too repetitive. But I want to have everybody on the live, if there is anybody there, know what's going on. So, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get some butter on this fry pan, right on my stove right here. We're gonna get some butter on there. So we got some butter. We got a pan. Get her melting. We've been preheating this pan for a little bit here. I got those like stone style pans. I like, they're non-stick, but they don't work as good as the smooth ones, but like those more ceramic style ones. But they always make those ones thinner, and I find when I use them on high heat, like on fires and stuff, they always get a little warped. And this style, it's a little thicker, and it just doesn't get warped, you know? But you definitely got to go with non-stick these days. I mean, they made that shit for a reason. It works so awesome. You can just put I still butter it anyway because I love butter. But yeah, so this is a podcast, people. If anybody's joining from live and they've never been here before, because I know my TikTok just got over 1,000, so that's why I'm even able. You have to have 1,000 followers to be able to do this live. So yeah, nobody knows what this is right now. Go watch my clips. This is a podcast where we discuss philosophy. My education is I'm an engineer, and I like to talk all things current events. I probably should have been some sort of a sociologist, because I kind of like social science in regards to human behavior a lot more than I ever liked math anyway. But, you know, I took the math route for some reason. But here I am nonetheless. You know, just trying to follow my heroes, Mr. Bean. Although I'm not like a physical... I've been told I have a whimsical face, but I'm not a physical comic. I'm definitely not a comic, because a comic, if you can be like... If there's like, hierarchies in professions, and then there's like the highest one. Comic is the highest one for comedian. It's like the one... When you're an expert comedian, you're a comic. Those are the... Like, you know what I mean? Like how you can be an optometrist, right? That's the top, and then you can be like an optometrical technician, right? There's like a hierarchy in the professions. Comic is like doctor. It's like surgeon of this art. So, yeah, it is saying joined for a lot of people, but like, it also doesn't say when they leave. So, and my camera's a little far away, so I don't know how many people are here. It'd be funny if right now there was like 1,000 people. But yeah, shoot your questions in there, because I'm going to bring it towards me in about 20 minutes or something. And have a look at the questions live on the air. Oh, let's get some eggs on this butter. And let's check the camera here. Do you live in Van? Okay, so I was able to see one question while I came forward, which is cool. Somebody asked me, they asked me, do I live in Vancouver? I do not. I am Canadian, but I live in Saskatchewan, which is infinitely better than Vancouver, of course. No. It's not a competition, people. All of Canada this butter didn't spread perfectly. Probably because the heat is... Oh, here we go. We're getting a nice spread here. Need a little bit of maintenance on this butter spread. Okay, so we're getting the eggs on there. Oh, that's what came up with this. I have this egg that has these little... I ended up Googling it. It has these little black spots on it. You can barely even see it. But I was like, I looked it up. I was like, what are these? Oh, fire's attacking me. What are these black spots? And I looked into it, and apparently just a little bit of discoloration on the outside of the egg isn't that big of a deal. Yeah, so yeah, I'll re-say this right into the good mic here for the final version. Oh, I did that shitty job on that one, but no shells into the egg, or into the pan. Okay, so we got our eggs on the fry. Our fire's rocking and rolling. This fire's honestly a little bit too big. Like, look at that. Yeah, these eggs are going to be done in literally no time because this is on such high heat. So yeah, everybody who's watching, I am from Saskatchewan. This is Canadian Talk Podcast. I don't know. What can you call... Who are the original, like, Canadians, right? I feel like you're more original... The more east you go... Oh, man, this fire's making a lot of noise. I also hope that the people on the live can hear me good because I don't have a separate mic for that. Yeah, because this is... It's a podcast, so this is primarily audio stuff, you know? I would say that the original Canadians are the Maritimers, but they're also one of the worst examples of Canadians, just in terms of like how they talk, which is not like super eloquent. But I mean, I guess who cares, right? And you know, so let me check on these eggs here. We're drinking beer, just regular beer, low percentage, not even proper Canadian beer here. It's not like we're drinking Moosehead. The podcast doesn't currently have a official beer sponsor. Great Western is the beer that you can get in Saskatchewan here. So I hope I'm pronouncing enough with my voice so you guys on the live can hear it. Really, I'm not going to know. I don't know if I'm able to rewatch the feed from that feed. I don't know if TikTok lets me rewatch it, so I'll be able to figure out how good my audio even is right now. No idea. But I'll do my best. Stick with me here, guys. The lulls, the reason I'm doing the TikTok lives and I'm trying to add it to the podcast is because I was hoping to use the questions as something that would break up the typical lulls in the standard podcast, because I have a lot of lulls as I'm going. But I seem to be, I mean, I need to bring that closer so that I can actually read the comments on the fly. Or maybe I'm going to upgrade this for next time, okay? That's what I'm going to do, because I feel like answering questions live is kind of how TikTok live should work. But, you know, whatever. I walk around. I'll answer a question now and then whenever I walk up there. That is also another solution. Just because... Let me critique the TikTok lives for a second here, which is what I've been wanting to do, because I got a bit of a bone to pick with them. Oh, I don't want to overcook my eggs. Let's scramble these motherfuckers. Look at that. Looking pretty good. I think I'm not gonna go easy over. Oh, I burped into the mic. I'm not gonna go easy over. I think I'm gonna let these bad boys jump around and get a little scramble going. Oh, I really forgot what I was talking about, unfortunately. Oh, I was attacking TikTok. I was talking about Maritimers being original Canadians. So those eggs are just about done, about halfway done. I like my eggs like pretty overcooked. So, like, I actually don't love when people answer questions constantly on TikTok Live, because it's like, you're not coming up with your own topics on the fly. You're just literally sitting there and... Fuck, the fire's popping. I burn spruce wood, which it sometimes is... It's pretty oxygenated. It pops quite a bit. That's what causes those pops is, you know, oxygen and CO2 caught in the wood, as I think. But yeah, I don't like that lives, people don't come up with their own topics. They're just sitting there babbling, answering questions, and it has no texture to it. It's just like, yeah, I'm 18, or yeah, I'm 18, yeah, I'm 23, I'm a fucking Pisces. Like, it gets eventually a little bit annoying. I see somebody has a picture who asked me a question, so I'm gonna go see it. It might be embarrassing. What do we got here? I need a wood stove. My furnace is broken. I'm freezing. So I got a comment that said, "I need a wood stove. My furnace is broken and I'm freezing." I feel for you. That is Canada. It's a little. It is chilly up here right now. In mid-October, Saskatchewan is regarded. It's kind of like the middle of Russia. Like it's cold. Inland, when you get a big country, big continent, whatever you want to call it, it gets inland. It's typically, and this is, I don't know, I'm not a meteorological expert, a geography expert. But like, it gets typically the temperature swings that you experience they become more as you go inland, because there's less water, because the water is what regulates the general temperature of an area, because water has a higher specific heat capacity than air. I think any basic scientist knows all this stuff. They teach it to you in grade 7. So sorry. All these eggs are done. So I've got some eggs. So there we go. I fried up some eggs live on the podcast. And we're actually live this time. I normally say live when I'm actually just videoing, but this time we're actually live. So yeah, people are liking the wood stove, which is cool. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to set my pan aside here. Bear with me. Stay there. Okay. Whew, this fire is ablazing. You need a fire to be really hot to use the wood burning stove as an actual stove, because especially this one, because it's super thick. It's like old as fuck. There is I actually have, you can't see it in the camera, but the glass. This isn't a high level one. There's some that have 2 doors on them, which are so cool. This one has it's a pretty good size. I can fit all the standard wood that I cut up into there. I don't have to cut it excessively small like some of the wood stoves that you see out there. But you gotta have a glass door. A glass door is key. If you're looking to buy a wood stove, you gotta have a glass door. This one has like some etchings in it of mountains, and some of them are just clear windows, which is fine too. This one has etchings in it. I fucking love it. It's got like gold. The door is gold. You can actually see it from that side, kinda. It just looks like the white fluff that's there for the temperature stuff, but the door I think is gold. It's golden color anyway. It might just be paint, but it's a nice little stove. I got it off, Kijiji is the Craigslist of Canada. That was where I got it, and I only paid $100 for this thing. But the problem is how hard it is to move around. Like, you almost need a bobcat or like a skid steer to lift it. And sorry, I keep moving the door, folks. It's because I'm getting a little too hot sitting in front of this thing, and some of the wood is falling out. So if I close the door like this, though, then I get a break from the heat. So yeah, anybody who's joining on the live, obviously I'm not seeing you, but thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching the podcast. Follow, and what I really want is you to subscribe to the YouTube, because we're here on TikTok. I put clips on TikTok of some of the good topics that we get into. If I'm rolling through my nonsense and I find myself on a good topic, I'll clip that up, and or I'll get my producer to clip that up. My producer is coming back from Trinidad and Tobago. He is coming back, and he will be with us again to help us, hopefully. I'm going to pay him this time if I have to. Hopefully he doesn't see that. And yeah, maybe I'll get him to do some editing even too. He's a computer science kid. What's his name? I mean, what do you think it is? What's every person's name? Fucking Brandon. Like, that's like, everybody's name is Brandon. Guess what? I could tell you his name is Brandon. That's like me telling you if we're in China or if we're in the Middle East, me saying that my name is Muhammad. You will never find Brandon in North America. He is invisible, just like Muhammad is invisible in Middle East or I wonder what the most common Indian name is, because there's a lot of people in India. by Indian I mean person from India, not Aboriginal or Indigenous from here in Canada, which we love. Indigenous people are awesome. They're like Canadian Asians, you know. They're like cold. They're like cold Canadian Asians. They're like that's what. Okay, so just so you know, that is definitely going to be clipped up because that's funny, and I don't think that's racist. I don't know though, but I'll decide later maybe. Let's see if there's any more questions on this live. I don't know. It's not the chat's not rolling through, so I'm not so sure. I think I'm going to see the same question from before. But I can reiterate. Oh, okay, we got a question. We got a question from somebody named Braden. This is gold. It doesn't get better than this. And he asks, are you off the grid? So that just kind of depends what you mean by grid. In a way, I am off the grid. You know, like the cabin isn't in the woods, or like where I am right now isn't in the woods, like actually off of roads, or not in a city or something. Like I'm in a city. But if off the grid means to you that like you're just outside of the major metropolises, then yes, I am off the grid because fucking the place I live, they made fun of it in Adam Sandler's movie Grown Ups. They called it Saskatchewan or whatever. Like we live in the middle of nowhere. So thank you for the question, Braden. That is really funny. That is really funny. Holy crap. I didn't even see that question come through and I was saying that bit about Braden. Fucking hilarious. We're drinking beer, like any good Canadian should. You know what? Now that we have a decent little bit of content here, I don't even know if anybody but maybe I'm gonna grab my camera. I'm gonna bring it over here and have a quick look at it. I'm gonna have a look at it because I want to see who's watching, and this might get a couple questions going because I don't actually know how many people are watching right now, but I want to see if there's some other questions, because I'm curious. Sorry to the regular podcast. This is episode 37 of the podcast. Of course, I've already told you 3 times. We are here in studio. Winter is coming. It's October the 13th, so it's getting a little chilly up here, but us true Canadians can really take it. So I'm not sure. I want to see how many. I think I've had like 4 or 5 questions, but I don't know. I got to scroll. 1 second. Be right back. What do we got here? Oh my god. Okay, one of the questions, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to eat my eggs here too. Do I have salt? One of my questions was, I'm watching you from the hospital. That, I am so happy. This is why I do this. I want you all to know that the reason I do this is because I'm trying to, as a comedian, what I think, and I was trying to define what a comedian was to me earlier. A comedian to me is anybody who brings joy to other people's lives. And the medium doesn't matter. You don't have to be on stage. You don't have to be, by whatever traditional standard anybody wants. You don't have to do that. Like the internet is that. I just don't, it's even harder to get your stuff out on the internet than it is on the, am I mumbling? The internet. It's even harder to get, what I mean by harder is it's more competitive, to get your stuff out on the internet than it is if you go to a place where they collect audience. Like if you're going to a club where they do comedy, they're helping you bring those people in there and you got them trapped there. It's more competitive on the internet because none of you guys are trapped. You can leave at any moment, so that's what makes it more competitive. Yeah, am I off the grid? Am I in Vancouver? No, I'm in the middle of Canada. This is Canada. This is as Canada as it gets. That's why I named it that, It's because I can't really escape that as much as I want to think of as much as I have a bloated ego, and I always will. I can't get away from the fact that I am not a millionaire. I'm not well traveled all over the world. I am from Canada. That's it. And all I know is Canada, really. So I should, at least for my first podcast I ever do, which I'm already a year and a half into now, go check out all our videos on YouTube. I figure I should be honest about the title for my first podcast. You know, because that's really all I am right now. I don't have that many life experiences. I'm 29. I'm just I'm a pretty young person. So I don't have a lot of experience with anything, you know. And this is stuff, this is reminiscent of some of the early podcast folks. If you scroll back on the YouTubes back to like episode 3 and 4, this is reminiscent to that where I kind of talk about how I really am not qualified to be, just like how Joe Rogan, right, isn't qualified to be. And by the way, I had this background before he changed it to his Texas studio. So I got the dibs on the pallet board background, hardwood background. Um, just like how Joe Rogan isn't qualified, right? He's a fucking cage fighting commentator, and he really is my inspiration. So you know, I know a lot of people hate on him now. They call him like the Oprah of for men and that kind of stuff. By the way, we are 35 minutes into the podcast, so we're rocking and rolling. We usually go for an hour. I try to do more if I'm really rocking and rolling, like a 2-hour podcast, but sometimes I don't make it. Sometimes I don't make it because I like to keep going, but also if I get too many lulls, I don't want to try to pretend like it's actually interesting. The only person who will listen to it is like a trucker or somebody on a hike for 7 hours. Like nobody will really listen to the content unless it's caught up at a certain point. If I get too lull heavy, so. But yeah, I do have a lot to say. I'm just a regular Canadian, and you know, you judge me yourself. But I'm here because this is something I have a passion for, media, and I think it's important. I think that it's changing. I think that individualized media, which is what this is in a way, is becoming the new CNN, the new, you know, MSNBC, Fox, whatever the fuck news station, global here in Canada. We have global news. That's pretty much our only news. We don't even have other news stations. That's how conservative Canada is in general. People just don't talk about the differences between countries sometimes. I'm going to go look at some more questions here, but I want to say this thought first for the goodness of the actual podcast. People don't talk about the differences between fucking places enough. Like, you know, with what's going on in Afghanistan right now. By the way, I know I said I was going to have that war guy on here, or that, not war guy, but he's you know, he's in the army. He was in the army for more than 10 years. He's a friend of mine. Of course, he started having issues, you know, because the army isn't an easy thing to do. These people, they're all struggling folks. Like, they need to have lots of sympathy in the way that they live their life, because they're not, you know, they're not a fucking dentist, you know, they're in the army. They chose to be in the army because, uh, you know, not because they had no options, but see, okay, I think it shows the viewers up in the top there. Is that what that is? Okay, I'm going to look at the questions again. Here we go. We're going to approach the camera one more time. And I'm going to have some eggs here on the air and tell you how they are with no salt and pepper. Oh, I've got salt over there, baby. I've got salt, and it's sea salt. Okay, 1 second. I've got one of those old campfire sea salts. Oh, Windsor. Yes. It's open though, so hopefully there's no fucking bugs in there or anything. I don't think there is. It's not open that much. Let's see here. I mean, it's salt. Salt doesn't go bad. Let's put a little bit of salt on these eggs here. We'll pinch it in there with our dirty paws, just so we can know there isn't any bugs here as we're. Salt is key though to good eggs. I don't think I have any viewers right now. That's all. I don't think, but I don't know. If I'm at 0 though, that's all right. I'm just happy to be able to do lives. I thought it was going to be not possible for me to be able to get to that stage, but I all of a sudden, you know, I reached out. I put out a few posts being like, follow me on the thing, and I had 1,000 in no time. So for anybody out there who wants to do TikTok lives and thinks that they can promote their business on here, because realize this is a comedy show, but it's also a business, right? This is like a marketing tool like type business type thing. So this is a business which I am currently marketing on TikTok live, right? So whatever. Okay, so let's have a peek at the questions, see if there's any other ones, but I don't know if there is. It seems like the viewership flows in right at the beginning and then maybe flows away. Just kind of, which is a standard issue, right? They get bored. That's how this shit goes. That might be why people answer questions like Bing Bang Boom on here, but it is what it is. I'll still try my best. I still am gonna do the TikTok live every time I do a podcast now, just so I don't know, because I'm gonna. That's what it is. What it is. All right, folks. All right, folks. Okay, so I'm gonna have some more beer. I'm gonna crack a second beer. I'm gonna have some of my eggs. I'm gonna check this phone here. 1 second. Holy cow! There is lots of questions. Zero. That number right there must mean um, how many people are watching. Oh, there we go. Okay, so let's get her set up here. All right. Okay, so we're back and we're rolling. We got some eggs that we just fried up on our wood burning stove here. Let's see how they are. I may have put too much salt on them, honestly. And they're pretty good. And as I mentioned before, I got these eggs. Oh, one of the eggs rather was discolored. It had like some on the outside of the shell. It had some black spots, and I was wondering what that was. I ended up googling it, and it isn't a big deal. But yeah, so if you ever, I don't know how much you guys know about eggs, but if they have black spots on them, it's no big deal as long as it's on the outside of the shell, not on the inside. Mm-hmm. Yep, it's pretty good. Yeah, frying up eggs live with Canadian Talk Podcast. Right now, I think I have one. Now I know where to look. It says one, so I think I have one viewer. Thank you to my one viewer. So what we're looking for is questions. So if you have any questions, I've had quite a few questions already. Hilarious questions. I was talking this guy. I was talking about, and I hope you can hear me, man. I hope you can hear me well. I might figure out another mic system. This mic is for the main video feed, which is put together later. Yeah, I was talking about how Braden is a common name in Canada, and how if you're Braden, you're just like you're Muhammad in the Middle East. And then a guy joined the TikTok live who was named Braden. It was pretty funny. So yeah, anybody who's watching, if you're watching the podcast on YouTube, crack a beer. Thanks a lot for joining me. I hope your workday is going good if you're at work, or whatever you're doing with your life. I hope your life is going well, because life can be hard sometimes, and you just you gotta look at things positively, because there is a lot, because the world just isn't what your parents told you it is. It it's a tough place to be. You know what, actually, dude? I'm just going to stop for a second and just say I am quite distracted. Oh, does that number say more than one now? Does that say five? Okay, I don't know. See, this is the thing, is where I do these podcasts pre-recorded because I get nervous in front of crowds, like as a comedian. But now that I know how many people are watching on the TikTok live, it is actually becoming a little bit hard for me. But hey, I actually, because like I'm constantly thinking about, now I feel like people are actually watching. Couple stories that I have off the top. I want to tell a couple stories. We're 45 minutes into the podcast. I want to tell a couple stories here because I have a few good ones that have been going on with me lately. I Okay, no, they're not good. Let's keep the expectations low. They're bad stories. They're bad stories. Because I had them in my head, and then a couple of them popped out of my head. I told the story already about how I recently I saved a dog. I should explain how that worked, how that happened. And man, that's a nice fire. Let's open it up. Let's get some more heat in here. I can maybe bring the TikTok live over and show the fire on the camera. Maybe I'll do that. I could have a second place to put the camera over here so that it shows the live fire feed. And if it's closer to me, you'd be able to hear me better too. Okay, let's try that. I mean, let's try that. Okay. Anybody who's with me? 3 people. Hello. Okay. Ask us what we're looking for today is we're looking for questions. Um so if you're here with us, what we would like from you is questions. This is Canadian Talk. It's a podcast up in Canada. And we want to know what kind of questions you have for us. We've already had some really hilarious questions. So there we go. We reversed the view so you can see the fire now. Here I am. We're still in the studio. So, what kind of questions would any of... Oh, we're back. We got 2 viewers. Woo! So, thank you. We are on... oh, my God. I might have to edit the main podcast. You're just going to have to watch me get excited about my little TikTok stream. Oh, we got the ghost music again. It's the virus. It's back. Anybody who's here... Oh, 0. Maybe this will be funny. I don't know if I'm going to do the TikTok live for every podcast like this, but I can say maybe I'll do it once a month, and it'll be like like a thing, and it'll be really funny because I find it quite fun watching the who comes in and stuff like that into the lobby and watches. But I might run out of shit to talk about. I don't even know. I might just end up turning into one of those people who just answers questions constantly. Because right now it's seeming like I won't have enough questions to go through a list later because I kind of saw them as I went, and it distracted me from my stories, and they were fucking... It's because the questions were hilarious. So... Oh, everybody left once I put it to the fire. Okay, I guess I'm going to put it back to me because that didn't work. And we'll see what happens with that, okay? So... Okay. We're back to standard view. Let's see if we get anybody scrolling across on the live. So, this is the deal, folks. I saved a dog's life. And so now we're talking to the podcast. We're not talking to any live because I don't think there's anybody in here. So I just had a brain fart live on air. I saved a dog. So the studio, I'll just say this: it is near a park. Okay, the where we are here, our Canadian Talk wonderful zone. We are adjacent to a park, and there's a lot of rabbits in the park. Okay, and I heard the sound of one of those fucking rabbits come ripping by. You know, it's like they have just a thunderous feet. They just, and I hear it. So I go out my garage door and I look, because I'm thinking there's a rabbit running from something here. I wonder if it's a cat chasing it. I wonder who's trying to get the best of this jackrabbit. And so I peek out there, and by the way, there is a lot of places where dogs can get hit by cars, and where dogs can get lost in this particular area of where I am. It's like a maze, right? So what happens is a lot of people lose their dogs in my area because they chase off rabbits, and then the dog gets lost because the owner can't keep up with the chase. So I saw this happening. I heard the rabbit. I ran out there and I intercepted the dog who was chasing the rabbit, and it was a pretty big dog. I think he was a Rottweiler, but he was pretty tired, and so he listened to me. So I think he was happy to see me. I made a couple click noises, a couple claps, and he wasn't listening to his owner, which was within earshot. I could hear the owner yelling, but the dog wasn't listening. But because I was closer, the dog just listened to me right away, and that was a pretty cool experience. So I feel like I saved that dog from potentially getting lost because he was huffing it. He would have still chased that rabbit down off into this alley split where there's a bunch of alleys that split out and there's traffic. And so I call it my dog saving story. That's the dog saving story. Not really any jokes involved, just like a heartwarming story of, oh, there is the joke from the end though, that like, it's heartwarming to save a dog, but then yeah, if you can believe it, it was like a dream. The dog that I saved was these it was these two girls, and I think we're having people hopping in and out, but they don't know that they're supposed to ask questions. Um, the dog was these two people's these two. Sorry, the essence of the story. I'm sorry, I'm bombing. Bear with me. Oh, my phone is giving me an alert. Okay, I couldn't read it. So I don't know what the alert was. The owner of this dog that I rescued, it was these two women that were quite attractive, and I was like, fuck. And I didn't end up getting the balls to even. Oh, there's the virus taking control of my computer again, playing more music. I definitely have a virus on this old shitty laptop that I use for the studio. So it's doing weird shit. If you're seeing blue screens popping up and stuff, it's people hacking it while we're on the fucking air. I guarantee it. The thing about this, you know what? I'm not sure how good this episode is going to be, but I had a lot of fun doing it. Not going to lie, I had a lot of fun doing this today. So that is what the live does, is it does add that element where it makes this a lot funner when we have people hopping in and out. Imagine what it's going to be like if we have like 10 people in here. I think at one point we had 5 or 6. What if we have like 100 people in here? That'd be fucking crazy, man. You know what's stupid? And I know this is frustrating, but I talk and I'm here. This is my person. I'm here. It annoys me that I'm here, right? And there's the TikTok live doesn't have 1,000 people in it. I have 1,000 people following me, but the live doesn't have 1,000 people in it. But there's these girls. The TikTok girls, I know that they post incessantly. They've been on this app for a lot longer than me. They follow the trends. They do the dances. So I'm not saying I deserve more. But like when I see that this girl who's just kind of like sitting there, with her boobs kind of hanging out, and she has like 1,000 viewers, it annoys me. Hey, I think I have a few viewers. Anybody who's a viewer in there right now? We're looking for questions for Canadians. Ask any questions you may have for a inland Canadian. Like I'm basically a Russian living in Siberia. We're looking for questions for Canadians. Man, I am going to have to do these TikTok lives and these main podcasts separately. I really am. And I'm going to have to chill until I get viewers. I'm realizing this. This is the beginning of a thing. So my viewer right now, thank you. We're looking for questions for Canadians. I'm going to have to do these separately until I'm able to get a proper audience of people that are just kind of watching me while I do the podcast. Because that's the other thing is YouTube also does lives. So I guess I could just do my lives on YouTube. But I feel like TikTok is the hip hop and thing right now. So if you're going to be doing anything live, you might as well do it on the platform where you'll reach the youngest audience so that your legacy is as prolonged as possible. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So, yeah, I got my 1,000 viewers. I can do my TikTok live now. So, for anybody out there, it's not that hard. If you want to know how you do it, this is how you do it. Because I have content that I put on my profile, right? So, there is that. You want to have that if you want to have people that are going to follow you back. But really, to get 1,000 followers, because TikTok is such a popping app, all you have to do, and this is for the main podcast too, if anybody wants to build their social media, you can actually go to the suggested lists and just kind of look through it and don't tap through it and like unfollow people an hour later. You tap through it, the suggested list, and you find people, and sometimes people follow you back. Like I find that at first I was getting like 1 in 4 people were following me back. And then as I got more and more followers, it was like 1 in 2 people were following me back and on and on. So, yeah. You can do it. You can get more followers. All you got to do is go out there and put in the brute force work. Get on the app, and I think we got more viewers coming in. If anybody's coming in, please ask us some questions for Canadians. That's what we're looking for. And we are approaching 1 hour, which is awesome. I'm glad to have a 1 hour podcast of me doing a TikTok live. So I'm going to go into that one topic from before that I hadn't gotten into yet. About life. So this is the deal, is if you're trying to get successful in life, and I'm not a motivational speaker here, I'm just talking about the philosophy of life. What is the difference though? I know you're going to be like, okay, your philosophies are motivational, so how are you not a motivational speaker? Like, come on, bear with me here. I'm trying to be funny, but some of my stuff might be motivational. So it's like, if you're trying to get successful in life, you have to, and as shallow as this might sound, you have to think of life kind of as a game. And again, that's another shout out to the guy that I had this chat and debate about this life concept right now. You know, when you can't let emotions rule how you live your life and how you make your day-to-day decisions, because then you're a hostage to your own life, you know? And man, this one viewer, I want to look cuz I want to give you some recognition for being in here for so long. I'm going to come and look at who it is. So, 1 second. Who is it? I can't see your profile, but ask a question. Oh, Jaden. Oh, looks like I've had some people follow me too, which is pretty cool. Anybody out there who hasn't followed me, give me a follow. If anybody who's in the room, if you're here, if you could go subscribe to my YouTube. I'm looking. I would love it if you could subscribe to my YouTube, because that's where the video versions of these get released after they get edited a little bit and they're a little bit better. So yeah, that will be. So that's what I want is subscribe to my YouTube. That's the main place for that. And I'm also looking for questions. So if you have any questions for me, shoot them out. Or jokes. If you have jokes, feel free to fire out a joke. So, yeah, for the viewer who's here and who has been here, you may know already that I fried up some eggs. I actually want some eggs right now. I'm going to have some. Oof, that's a big piece. I think that's too big. I'm just going to go for it. Oh, dropping some eggs for the bugs. And there's the music again. Oh, and it stopped really quickly this time. That virus is really going to get us. Oh, and we got a question. So I'm going to get to your question later. So if you want to see, thank you for the question, but I can't read it from here. Do I have any other stories I want to get to for the main podcast before we end it? They say you got to end it strong. This has been fun. This has been the TikTok podcast that has been recorded. I don't know how often I'm going to do this. I might do them separate from now on, where I don't actually record them and keep them. I also don't know if TikTok saves them for you on their server, and then I can access them that way and then post them to YouTube. That would also be pretty cool if I can do that, because then I don't necessarily need two cameras. Whatever. So, hey, but you know what I do have, though, is I have some beers I can chug. So, thank you for joining the podcast. This is the Canadian Talk Podcast. And thank you for joining. If you're up there on YouTube in the future and looking back on us in the past, I didn't really talk about any current events. Who the fuck cares? Who cares? I mean, comedy is meant to be about nothing. Not current events is what you fall back on, right? So, let's chug these beers. Let's get out of here and see if anything else comes across our minds. Thank you for watching. I mean, I think you're my first biggest fan. Whoever's out there, I got one fan right now who stuck with the whole stream. But thank you for joining. I appreciate it. And if you subscribe to my YouTube too, I might send you a T-shirt if I see that you subscribe to the YouTube. So actually, what I am gonna do is I'm going to call it a day. That's been 1 hour. I'm going to slam these beers and I'm going to call it a day. Thanks to all the listeners, and subscribe to the YouTube. And I know I'm not the greatest comedian in the world, but guess what? I have an education. I'm trying. So what do we want ultimately? Our politicians are people who are just like too good at being public and talking, but we ultimately don't want them there because they're not that smart. They're just good at being in front of the mic. So what I'm trying to do is I see that gap. I've seen it for a long time in my life, and I'm trying to bridge it. And there's no way that you can do it without doing the grunt work of what I'm doing right now. You have to be good at talking. You have to be good on the spot. You have to have your opinions sorted out. And that's the way she goes. You know what's cool is I think my viewers can see how many viewers there are, which is good. Let me see if that number still says 1. Yeah, it does. It does still say 1. That is all right. This is the first one ever. I'm glad we're through it. it was a bit of a fail. I mean, we don't have 1,000 people watching us. Maybe one day we will. Maybe if I grow boobs, then maybe we will. But yeah, I am from Saskatchewan. We are just a basic ass place in Canada, super super basic, and that's what we give here: Canadian perspectives, Canadian jokes. And thanks for tuning in to episode 37 of the podcast. I got to do some thinking on this stuff and see if I'm going to do this the same way in the future. It may not be this way because I got to learn some stuff first. Who even knows? You know what I should have done before I did a full on podcast thing. I should have went live for like 5 minutes and tested it and shit and learned some stuff about the settings. But I didn't do that. I just decided to throw her down and do it in the actual studio itself and just rock it. So I'm happy with how it turned out. We almost had 10 questions, I think. So that's pretty freaking good. By my low ass standards. That brings me back to, am I off the grid? It depends what your standards are. I mean, I'm off the grid if your standards are at certain metropolis levels, and if your standards are low, then I'm on the grid. I live in a city, so yeah. Thank you for tuning in, and see you later. I'm gonna end because I am literally going in circles, but I've had a lot of fun today. It's been an hour podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Canadian Talk out.
Thanks for listening, and any questions or concerns for the show, as well as voice recordings and voice messages that you'd like us to listen to, or advertisement inquiries, please forward those along to CanadianTalkWithStephan@gmail.com. Thanks. We also have a website, Stephanjackson.ca, where you can find a back catalog of all our episodes, and we're also on YouTube, where you can find the video versions.
Canadian Talk.